My Arms, Your Hearse.
Sexual intercourse.
Opeth's third album. There seems to be two general schools of thought when it comes to this album and people's opinions on it. There are some who think it is the greatest piece of art that has ever been conceived in the world, and the other side thinks it's this ropey nonsense that is only good for Demon of the Fall and nothing else. The sun is not my friend today. So if it's so well reviewed, there has to be some good substance on it, right? That's what I thought. And it's true. I think a key factor of this album is that it gets stronger as it goes on. It opens with Prologue, which is just a cool instrumental track. It gets the job done. And then you get into April Ethereal and When, which is kind of very similar to the Opeth of the past. And if you like those first two Opeth albums, then you'll really like these songs. But they do drag on a little bit. Also, there's the matter of the cleans on this album, which are not the best. I think they're the worst, probably out of any Opeth album, but they're still listenable. They're good. But comparatively, even compared to Morning Rise, I'd say the cleans on this album do suffer. I believe Michael had the flu when he recorded them, which it shows. Then you get into Madrigal, which is another cool instrumental track that for me kind of marks a shift in quality for the album, definitely for the better. The song that comes after it, the Amen Corner, I think is extremely underrated. There's a lot of fantastic riffs on here. It is a really great Opeth song. It then of course goes into what is revered as the best song on the album, an Opeth classic, Demon of the Fall, which is just fantastic. Obviously, you have the big, massive opening, Silent Dance with Death. Silent Dance with Death. Everything is lost. Then you get the acoustic part, the 12 string into the Demon of the Fall. The first hook in an Opeth song thus far is one more hook than they've had on any other song in their last 3 albums. Even the clean section on this song is, I think, probably the best on the album. It is not the only thing worth hearing on this album. Demon of the Fall is by far the best song on this album, and I'd argue the best song out of these first 3 Opeth albums. But I don't think it's entirely fair to rope these albums together. I think Orchid and Morning Rise are very similar, but My Arms, Your Hearse stands out in a way that is different from those other two. Vocally, first of all, it's very different. There's the more death metal style compared to the black metal influence on the first two, and while that's not entirely gone, there's definitely a more focused sound here as well. You can definitely see more what Opeth will become even into Still Life in Blackwater Park and onwards. To continue with the song, Credence keeps the really strong energy flowing. I think it's exactly what was needed at this point in the album. They really understood this. And then you have Karma, which is an extremely effective ending. I love the riff that the song starts with and kind of carries throughout. It's really, really good. Also, the cleans on this one are more tolerable compared to some of the earlier ones. And then you end with Epilogue, which is a very nice ending to the album. So, where does it fall in terms of Opeth quality? Well, it's definitely not their worst, but it's also not their best. I think there's a lot more nuance to this album than people give it credit for. There's much more than Demon of the Fall just to enjoy here. But I also don't think it's their best. I think Still Life in Blackwater Park beat it by miles, to be realistic, even some of their newer stuff. If I were to ever do an Opeth ranking, I think it would be in a similar spot as In Cauda Venenum for me. I think that's the best of the prog rock era of Opeth, and I think this is not the best of the death metal era, but it's on the better side. It's better than Orchid and Morning Rise for me. I think what's important here is we really can see, like I said, what Opeth will become. For some fucking reason, they're allergic to choruses, and this album, they maybe lean a little bit less away from that 1%, not much, they're still very guilty. They also repeat riffs a lot. This is my one main criticism of Opeth, is they do sometimes repeat riffs very unnecessarily. And I like long songs. I like Opeth can do long songs very well. I just figured out, especially in these earlier days, they didn't know how to do that yet. And the fact that they still kind of carried that with them on this album does hurt it a little bit, especially, like I said, the first couple tracks. But as you get on, they seem to get more and more focused with what they're doing. At least it appears that way. In conclusion, I think it is a really solid album. It's by far the best of the first three, even though, like I said, it's probably not really fair to put them together because this is more of its own thing in its unique way compared to Orchid and Morning Rise. Ultimately, it is worth a listen. Don't let anyone tell you this album fucking sucks. It doesn't. But also, if they tell you it's the greatest thing that's ever existed, we don't need to be so extreme. Then again, who the fuck am I? So do whatever you want.